Hey, Mary bitch, you looking real clean. You looking real bad. You looking like a queen. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you, but I gotta.
Hey, it's locked.
Here I come. Don't you go nowhere, Mary bitch. Where I'ma go?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Shape stage filmmaker and comedian Katie Don and actress Issa Rae.
Hello. A lot of y'all. How y'all doing?
Yes.
Can we make some more noise for Issa? Can we make some more noise?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Love to Katie for doing this. I specifically requested her. She's the most hilarious person, y'all.
I love you for that.
You are.
Issa is my Michael Jordan, my Beyonce. Okay? So, let's get right to it. I want to talk about the early stages of Issa, baby Issa. So how did you start creating content? What made you want to do it? How did you get on YouTube?
I wanted to be a writer, and I love to tell stories. And for me, being on YouTube was just super accessible. I was in college, and freshman year, Facebook had just come out. That's how old I am. And it was just it was a perfect procrastination tool. And then I remember when it was called posted items at the time, but you could share links, you could share YouTube links, and we were just all super obsessed with being on Facebook. And I remember my senior year, I had to take all these credits because I took some time off of school to go to film school because my program didn't have one. My school didn't have a program. And so my senior year, I was taking 20 units. I had to take all the units to catch up to still be able to graduate on time. And that meant, since I had so much work to do, that I procrastinated a lot. And so I just remember thinking, I was directing plays, I was writing, I was doing all these, other extracurricular activities, and just being on social media a lot. And I was like, it would be so dope if I could create a soap opera or a mockumentary about what it's like to be Black at Stanford. And at the time, a lot of my friends were already, somebody went to Stanford? Okay, hey, girl, hey, what up, Kate? How you doing? So at the time, I was all my friends are in my plays anyway. It'd be super easy, and they're always on social media, and so I'm gonna just cast them in it, and I know they're gonna share it because they mad vain, and they really did. And so I saw that spread, and at the time I was trying to break into the industry traditionally, by submitting scripts, by entering contests, and I just wasn't getting yeses. And so this felt like, being on YouTube felt like the first time where I didn't have to have any kind of gatekeeper to tell me yes or no. It was just people were seeing my work. And so, as I'm sure you know, it was just about putting the content out there and finding an audience. And it took 3 web series. My 3rd web series was a series called The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, and that's really what helped my career to take off.
So was it transition from YouTube to mainstream HBO, was that hard? Was it?
Hell yes, it was hard. It was
yeah.
People think things are overnight, but even with Awkward Black Girl, I had 2 web series before that I was just grinding to get an audience for. And, my 2nd web series was a series called Fly Guys Present the F Word, and it was about my brother and his music group. And I really believed in that. I was I'm behind the scenes editing. I would skip out social events to do it, and at the time I wasn't really working. I was doing videography gigs and editing gigs here and there because I thought if I edit this video, if I do the videography for this wedding and edit it, maybe a movie director will see it and be like, you got skills, and I'll get discovered. I was just going about it the wrong way. But even with that web series, I was just consistent about trying to release it at the Monday at 10 every morning, and we were promoting it constantly, and that was just it just didn't take off in the same way. And so once Awkward Black Girl took off and got attention, I was like, oh, this is it, this is gonna happen. And then there are just so many other steps. I got the opportunity to work with Shondaland at ABC, and then I thought that was gonna be my big break, and it wasn't because I just wasn't ready for it. And then had other web series opportunities as I thought that medium was gonna grow and become more mainstream. And that didn't happen. And so Luckily, when the ABC door shut, HBO called and said, hey, we heard you're free. Do you have anything that you want to pitch to us? And Insecure, even that, when I got that opportunity and they bought that show, it took 3 years for it to be made. So it took a lot of time.
So, like, being on YouTube, I know it's more secure. You can do your own thing. Did you have any fears? Was there any big fears going into entertainment and being on a bigger platform?
Yeah, I think putting myself out there, because I think even when I did, work in college, I think my first YouTube video was a video called, it was a drunken freestyle with my friends. We had just discovered Moscato because of a Lil' Kim song. And we were like, Lil' Kim always shouts out Moscato, let's buy it, we 21. And so we did that, and then we had like a freestyle session, and I recorded it like on my phone, I think, and then made a music video to it and uploaded it. It was called Fuck You Bitch. And it got like 150,000 views. And I was like,
how does it go?
It goes, fuck you bitch, use a bitch. It was very bad.
Okay.
It was not good.
You need a Grammy. You need a Grammy too.
It was really bad. And my friends made me take it down because I had it up for like a long time. And my friend was like, bitch, I'm trying to be a nurse. I can't have nobody like, stop.
Go say it to the patient.
Yeah.
You did.
So that's on private now because I didn't delete it. She don't know. But I was scared because outside of that, I had never put myself out there. Like my first web series, was starring my friends, and I was just behind the scenes. My second one was my brother and his friends. And even looking at the comments for those videos, I'd be like, that was generally positive, but people would come for them. And I'd be like, okay, that's not me though. They're not talking about me. I'm not it. So before putting out Uncle Black Girl, I was like, this is me, and I'm putting myself out there, and this really does represent like an archetype that, I hadn't really seen before in present day media and television. So I was just anxious about that. And then even when that was well received, for Insecure, it was a completely different story. You're known for one thing, and people want you to kind of stick to that. Yeah. And so I was just like, this isn't really the same as the web series, and I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. So I was scared about how people would receive that. Just because at the time, I used to read like every single comment and like really take to heart constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Like I have a thick skin just in terms of like people saying things, and I realized I did, even though I was scared. But like I was just like, I take things like, and I analyze them a lot. And so for me, it was just like, will I be able to, will this be successful?
Yeah.
A fear of failure.
Mm-hmm. So you do a lot: direct, act, rap, do comedy. So that takes a genius. So yes, it do. What is a day in the life of Issa? What do you do to get in your creative zone? Like, what gets you going? What gets your mind,
That's a good question. I get inspired just by life. Like I love little moments. I love, a lot of my social interactions. I mine for comedy. I use a lot of my friendships. I just like real life things, and I love discomfort. Like there's just something about discomfort that makes me laugh, and it, because everybody has different areas of discomfort. Like what makes you embarrassed makes, may not embarrass me, and what your point of view about something may be completely contrary to mine, and what makes people tick really inspires me. And so I feel like I'm emotionally empathetic in a way, like in terms of just feeling people's embarrassment or feeling people's emotions and things like that. And so I wonder, I try to translate that to the screen just because it intrigues me. And then whenever I get writer's block, I do like to just watch other people's processes, because that helps me. Like when I hear about other people procrastinating, like other writers, waiting till the last minute to do stuff, it just makes me feel better and not as useless. Because you just want the company. You want to know that other people are, trash too.
Let me write that down. Let me get your blueprint. Okay, you do that, you do that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't do that. Okay, great. Neither do I.
Okay, and as you know, the entertainment is changing drastically. We're going from doing a lot of mainstream to it being online, to having series online. Is there anything about the future of entertainment that makes you excited, that you're looking forward to?
yeah, I feel like kind of behind. I don't know, because I feel like we were kind of on the cusp of something initially, of just like we were organically, like I was organically on Facebook and organically on Twitter and organically on YouTube, just looking at these products. And so for me, organically, it just made sense for me to create content there. And so I'm looking at now what I'm organically drawn to, and there is something like, you know, I love the podcast world, and even though that's been here for a very long time, but just seeing the opportunities, it just feels like they're making radio come back in a new way, and radio dramas come back in a new way. I love audio stories. I'm really just intrigued to see what kind of news stories will be told within these various mediums, like even seeing someone like you being able to do so much with kind of sketch comedy in a way and personality way just via something like Instagram. And I'm curious to see, like, and I know Snapchat invested a lot of money to try to get content and you know, stories to take shape in a way where content creators could create platforms. Content creators could create content for that specific platform, and it didn't really pan out. But I'm just curious to see what's next, like what I'll be intrigued to watch on, if at all, on Instagram or Snapchat. I don't like Snapchat, but sorry, no offense. Or Rihanna doesn't either, guys. So she doesn't like it, I don't like it. So I'm just really curious to see what the next thing is.
Speaking of projects, I know you're working on something called the Color Creative TV.
Yes.
Let us know about that, girl. Go ahead. Let us know.
Color Creative is something I started just out of my frustrations with going through the television process and, you know, the pilot process. Like, it just felt very archaic. And having come from the internet, I felt like I've been able to create a couple of shows, and so have my peers, and get an audience around them. And it feels like that is the building block. That is the proof that there is an audience that wants this content. Whereas the pilot process was just like, let's, in a vacuum, pay you to write this script. 3 people will approve it, give notes, and a year or 2 years or 3 years will pass, and maybe it'll see the light of day, maybe it won't. And an audience never gets to see that. And so I was like, there's just so many talented creators who just purely create great stuff, and they'll never get a chance to like go through the television system. So Color Creative was made to just give emerging writers of color and women the opportunity to create their pilots and to create their content, and so for an audience to see. And so we've partnered with various people along, like, thank you. We partnered with like the likes of BET, where we just partnered on a context with them, with ABFF and BET, to produce a television series. We just completed one for like a young adult fiction that's being shopped around, a young adult sci-fi show that's being shopped around. And it's just really about being able to ultimately be able to create whole series and get the funding to be able to do that. But we're just really putting on emerging young Black writers.
Changing the world.
Not yet. But it's exciting because, you know, even just being able to get them representation, because that's really hard, of getting an agent or a manager, and we've been able to do that, getting them staffed on television shows as well so that they can get in the system. Because so many times you hear executives like, we don't know where to find them. You know, help us, where are they? And it's like, they're here. And then it's also like, you're never gonna find them if you're also not hiring them. So it's like a catch-22, so being able to give, you know, them that experience, so you can't say, well, we didn't know, we looked and, yeah,
we looked.
So that's just been really helpful, and we have had studios and execs and networks call us personally to ask us personally, like, hey, we heard you have people of color, we're really, really trying here. Who can you recommend? And so in that way, it's really been helpful.
So to play off of that, what are some changes that you would like to personally see in the industry?
I guess.
Keep it real.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of the changes now. I think it's just, I keep on saying that, like, old white people have to die, you know, in their systems. In a way, because they have to die off because a lot of their traditions.
Full white, or can they have a little black, or? We want them all.
I mean, anybody who's kind of preventing change and, diversity has to go. And that's gonna happen. But I feel like even with like the stuff that happened with Roseanne, that was just really promising, but like it should have never been on the air in the first place, and it was just I just want to see more responsibility taken in terms of what we're putting on television, and that feels promising because I am seeing so many more execs of color coming up through the ranks and now having the reins and being like, now that I'm in charge, this is what's not going down and this is what I'm looking out for and I'm looking out for you and I'm making sure that we get through the gates. And that feels so different from the past where it was just like execs would have this role and be like, this is my only shot, so y'all like kicking the ladder down, like y'all good, okay, find your own way, I made it, so figure it out. And so it just doesn't feel like, it feels like so much more of a community now. We're all looking out for each other and all supporting each other, and that makes me optimistic.
So I want to feel very, how can I put this? To me, you're up here. So being at that position, do you still feel like you face a few challenges? You still got to go through ropes and through courses to get what you want? Is it still somewhat a battle because you're young, beautiful, black, female? Is it still
all
kind
those
of,
compliments.
You beautiful, girl? I had to throw that in there. You say you
got me blushing. You fine too.
Girl.
But yeah, there are definitely challenges, but I feel like most of the challenges are just the challenge of opportunity, of just taking the right thing on, to be able to feel like I have said yes a lot in the past, of just like, oh, we want you to think about doing it. Yes, okay. We want you to, maybe consider writing it. Yes. And then you realize like, oh, I gotta do this? Like I have to get it done, and they want it on a deadline, and I'm doing all these other projects too, and so in that way, it has been kind of just finding the balance, the work-life balance, because especially this year and the past couple of years, I've realized that I don't have a life outside of work in that way, and so that maintaining that balance is important to me. But I'm also just like, these opportunities are slim and may not exist in the future, and so that fear is always driving me too. But it just feels like everyone is so ready to listen right now. Everyone's so ready to give you a shot because people are clamoring for new voices. You just don't want to say yes, and I don't want to let anybody down in that way, or let myself down, most importantly.
Amongst the challenges you face and the trials and tribulations, what keeps you going? What inspires you and, keeps you going?
Think about my old job. I always say that because I hated it. I hated waking up to go to that job. I just felt like I was just wasting time. Like I was like, why am I not doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, and why can't I do it? Why can't I get there? And then, I'm waking up, I tell the story about like waking up at, I think I had to wake up at like 8 a.m. to be at the job by 9. And I was like, this is so early. And I'm just struggling and I'm dragging my feet. And, now I happily wake up at like 5 to do something I love. And just even seeing the difference there of just like wanting to do something. But I always think about that whenever I do get frustrated. Like, girl, you could still be in Koreatown. So think about that.
You're right. You're right. Are there any people that inspire you, that you looked up to?
So many. I mean, I love Ava, who was here yesterday. I love Donald Glover. I love Lena Waithe. I love so many, Ryan Coogler. All of the people that are doing things right now. I love you. I love Lala. Lala Scissorhands. I love so many other just up and coming creatives who are just taking the reins on their own stuff and just like also while also like lifting other people. Like the way that a lot of internet people are just collaborating with each other and taking each other along with them for the ride, or taking each other along for the ride and working together and creating opportunities for other people. Like even seeing, Michael B. Jordan being the first person to be like taking on this inclusion rider, which feels ridiculous. It feels like something that other people need to be told to do, but we've been doing for the longest. But shout out to him. But that's just the mentality that so many of us have in this generation. And so that's just inspiring to me, of just like seeing other people win and just being like, yes, yes, yes. I know you've been working, and I know how hard you've been trying to make this dream happen. So to see it happening for you is so rewarding, and inspires me to be like, okay, there's more. There's more to come.
No, it is. Now that I'm right here, do you have any, can you give me some advice? Give me some pointers, some secrets.
Some secrets about what? What
Just
you want to know?
making it into the industry, merging from, Instagram, which is not a problem, and coming to the HBO, the Insecures, the television, just trying to cross that line and make it over. Do you have any?
What have you been approached? I'm sure.
I've been approached a lot. By who? It depends.
What are you looking for?
One of them approached me. No.
What's the goal?
My goal is to be television and movies.
To do television and movies. I mean, I feel like since that was my goal too, it was just about making sure that the people who are approaching you know you and know what you're trying to do and are listening to you, listening to what you want. Because I did get approached a lot of just like, this is what we see for you, and this is what the vision that we have planned for you. And it sounds great, and it sounds like, oh, okay, everybody else is doing it this way. Everybody else is having success this way, so maybe I should follow the same path. And there are a couple moments where I've had to be like, this is not what I see for myself, and this is actually not the vision I had in mind. And so honestly, it's just that, and making sure that you have like a good ass team. Like the best thing that ever happened was the people around me, like utilizing the people around me, starting in school. And all of my hardcore friends have been in every single one of my productions in some way, whether they were in it or holding the camera when, either I was on screen or somebody else was on, or I needed a second camera person, or they were promoting it in some way. And then from that, when I actually started creating it turned into other people approaching me and being like, hey, how can I help? Like, I want to be a producer, and it seems like you need some help, so like, put me on. And I'd be like, well, you're putting me on, so let's just work together. Or, I am a camera person and I do this. And a lot of my the team members that I have now, and the connects and the crew, have just come from the ground up with me. And so it's just been great to be able to kind of win with them and plot next moves. And so it's also been important for them for us to all have our own lanes to a degree, so that we're not stepping on each other's toes, and so that we're all growing together and feeling like we're not in competition with each other.
Mm-hmm. Out of everything that you do right now, directing, acting, rapping, doing comedy, is there you got bars, Issa?
Barely.
You want to have a rap battle?
No. You go first. I don't want to have a rap battle. I do not. I will lose.
We'll save it for later.
Okay, for sure.
What is your favorite thing to do out of all that? And is there something that we don't know that you want to do, or that you do behind the scenes, like a talent or a hobby?
Well, I mean, my favorite thing to do behind the scenes is definitely write. Like, I have realized, like, I love writing, and I love the editing process. Like, I feel like that's so underrated, and just in terms of how much that shapes a story and that shapes the experience. Editors just don't get enough credit. But I really love the behind the scenes aspects more than the in front of the scenes. Just because you get to do so much and you get to play so much. And I guess the other side that I really am drawn to is not the rapping side of music, but just the business side of music. I am very intrigued by that. Like, I have such a love and respect for artists and the industry and just music in general. And I realize how much of a role it plays in just all the productions that I do. and it has, and I'm just trying to figure out, what I want to do in the music world. That's not rapping.
That's not right. Did you see yourself being in this position when you was younger and you had your dreams and your goals? Did you see yourself being here and being this big and being this successful?
No, I think I was thinking about writing just short stories, and I think it evolved from wanting to write books and short and novels and things like that to television is the thing, or movies are a thing. Gina Pence Bythewood did Love and Basketball. Maybe I could do it, and then Moesha is a thing, and maybe I could do that. And so I didn't really realize what that was until I started meeting other people. Like, one of the other best things that happened to me was meeting a friend of mine in college who we loved the same shows, and we decided to partner up writing, and she really encouraged me to realize that this could be a profession, this could be something that I could pursue. And still, no, you don't think about being here now. Like, you're in the shower, you say like, you make speeches and shit like, I'm out here, but you don't think, nobody else does that? Y'all don't talk to yourself? Okay, thank you. But outside of that, no. This is all a huge, just honor and surprise, and I'm just taking it every moment as much as I can.
Do you still have dreams to this day?
Hell yes, I still have dreams. There's just so much that I want to do, and I don't want to be limited at all. Like, even within the entertainment industry, I don't want to just be limited to just doing film, television, and I want to help other careers for sure, but there's just other areas that I aspire to make a change, and I just really also want to find out what else I'm supposed to do, beyond this, because we get these platforms in a way, and people are listening, and it's just like, what else do I want to say that's of importance, or who else do I want to support who's saying what I want to say? Because sometimes, I don't feel articulate enough to be able to voice what it is I want to say or the change that I want to make, and so how can we use our platforms to empower other people who are saying what we want to say?
Is there anything that you would say to younger Issa, any advice you would give her and let her know? If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself?
I would probably say, chill. Just calm down and stop trying so hard. Because I think for me, it was just about, I was comparing myself to a lot of other people. I was comparing my success or lack of success to everybody else's. And I remember being at like a Christmas party, I think after college, and I was struggling. I got to New York. I got an opportunity to go to New York after college to work in the theater world, but I was still grinding and trying to make videos and directing, and like I said, doing videography and stuff like that. And there was a Christmas party where we all got together, and it was crazy. Like, my friends were all one was a diplomat, so she was like going to Ethiopia and doing great things there, and we were all talking about that's what it was. We were all talking about what we had going on, and actually use this in Insecure. And then the other one was like, a lawyer, and she was, killing it at her law firm. Another one was, about to get her PhD in public health. And the other one, I can't remember what the other one was. It was something bomb. And then it came around to me, and it was like, oh, what you doing? And I'm like, oh, just still making YouTube videos. Just, I hit press the upload button. Someone just, it's up right now, so that's my life. And, they're all supportive. Like, yeah, girl, okay, hit that button, girl. Okay, you're going to get my view. It's just great. But there's just something about, like, I'm just not where I'm not on y'all level. I'm not where you are. And that's ridiculous to do because we just weren't on the same path. So I think for me, it would just be like, shut the fuck up, chill, and just worry about your lane, worry about yourself.
What are you looking forward in the future of your career? I know you got another season of Insecure coming out. Ready for that. So in addition to that, is there anything else that you're really looking forward to and that you're excited about, that you can speak on it?
Definitely films, I'm shooting a film, this summer that I'm excited about, but I want to just, even writing films. I'm writing a couple of film projects right now and producing and developing, but I just want to have a studio. You know, I want to be able to have
Issa Rae production.
I mean, you know, just a chance to be able to just create and to finance and to have the ownership of just my own content and again, empower other people to do the same.
I love it. I love it. So back to, because I know personally I have my own challenges where there's times I just want to give up. And I don't see no hope in myself sometimes, which is sad, but at the same time I try to push on and move forward. What was I going to say with that? I'm sorry. I'm about to get emotional. I'm like,
Preach. Tell me.
I'm trying.
What you going through?
Girl, sometimes I just feel like I'm not good enough. But at the same time, I can look at you and I can see myself in you, and you give me inspiration and you make me want to push on and go forward. Because honestly, if it wasn't for you, when I found out about you a few years ago, and that was my push, I was like, she did something amazing, something that really hasn't been done before. And you're welcome. I'm just giving you so many compliments.
I know. But I mean, I think that's necessary too. And even that, like, there's something about being a creative where like that drive and that feeling of not being good enough kind of pushes you, of just like, well, I want to, and I know it pushes me, it fuels me, of just like, well, I want to prove to myself that I am. And it is just for myself. It is just like, you know, like I did that, now what else can I do? And those doubts were wrong. There's nothing like being like, you thought I couldn't, but I did. And there's something so satisfying to me. And I know that fuels me, people thinking that I can't do something. Because there's just nothing like proving them wrong. And I'm petty like that too. And I'll never tell
Proving
you.
these haters wrong.
Yeah, okay?
All these haters. Let me get a little
Yeah, but
water.
that's definitely something that motivates me, and it's absolutely necessary for the creative process. Because if you are coming out there like, I'm about to kill them, they're not even ready, and then you tank, like, where do you go from there? But there is just something fulfilling about like purely making something and it being well received, or you just personally being satisfied with it, you know, regardless of what other people think.
Okay. What is your most memorable moment being in the industry? Anybody that you met that just...
My favorite moment, one of my favorite moments was definitely with the Obamas, just having, you know, going to the White House with my mom, and when he was in the White House, when it was the best time, because it's so long ago. It was Christmas, around Christmas time, and we were just going. First of all, we didn't think that we were going to be able to meet him because we had just seen, like, in midair, like, I was looking at the news and there was a report that his family was going to go to, like, Hawaii for their early break. And I was like, oh, shit, do I show my mom or not? Because she's going to lose it. She's going to be like, we in the air for nothing. We're going to the White House to see who. And so I still showed her, and I was like, they're about to get on this plane. And she was like, no, what? She was just mad. And I was like, well, we're already in the air. It's not like we can jump off. So let's just make the most of it. And so, of course, they were still there. Miss Obama, I'm going to call her. Miss Michelle was not there. But he gave a speech, and, you know, there were a bunch of young black creatives there, and we were just all excited to be able to shake his hand. And even that was a task of trying to get to the front of the line. And so being able... I pushed my mom to the front, like, go ahead, get your handshake, and I was filming it, and then I saw an opening to be able to shake his hand too, so I went to the other side, like, Mom, I got you on camera, and she was all hugging on him hard, and it was just like, stop. You're thirsty.
Right, hold on.
Don't do that. Like, just because Michelle's not here doesn't mean you can do that. And so then I got my opening, and so when he reached me, he was like, how could I forget the words? I was with Yvonne, and he turned to her and he was like, do you know who she is? And I was like, what, he talking about me? He know me? And then, you know, he complimented the soundtrack to the show and was just, you know, he was like, I love to see black women being creative. And that was just the most beautiful affirmation of anything that I had ever received. And my mom missed the whole thing. Because she was over there still, you know how someone gives you a compliment and you really like just thinking about it? Or like if you, have you ever been asking a question like in a classroom and someone says, that's a good question, and you be thinking about how it's a good question and you miss the answer?
You like,
You be like giving yourself, that was a good question, I killed that. Dang, I should ask more good questions. Oh, what? And I feel like that was my mom. Like she got her props from her mom and she missed everything else. And I was like, Mom, did you see that? She was like, what? What? He knew you? So that was a whole highlight. And then I got Michelle Obama, same thing. Her lightweight cursing me out for the finale of Insecure. And that was a beautiful thing. It was. I lost my mind. So the Obamas, and just even what they've influenced, just in terms of like, I credit so much of this wave of proud blackness to them. Like, and it's so absolutely necessary. I attribute so much of the confidence and just what they brought to this country and to us. And so I just don't think this administration will never take that away from us, and I'm just excited to be a part of this wave.
I know when it comes to creating my content and working with other people, it's hard to meet in the middle, and it's hard for them to understand what you want to do and keep it how you want it to be. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in a writer's room, you're writing for Insecure, and there's something that you just don't want to happen in the script, or, for instance, or a character getting killed off? Like, is there anything where you're like, nah, I can't do it deep down inside? Like,
Do you want to kill somebody off? You said...
I want to kill somebody off and put me on there. We can kill you off if you got
kill
to.
me off, man. You got it. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Well, yes, there have been definitely, like, there have been a lot of heated debates in the writer's room. That's another favorite part of just being, I feel like you plotting to kill me right now.
I know, I'm like,
looking at the distance, like, I could get in there.
She right here.
But yeah, there've definitely been heated arguments. And I think for me, I love collaborating because I just know there are a lot of people with great ideas who are just way smarter than me, and I love hearing everything out. But I think because a lot of these characters were so close to me for this show and based off of real people, for me, I was initially like, I found myself being a bit apprehensive, just like, nah, I know these people. And so resisting the urge to just outright say, no, that won't work is the best thing that's, also ever happened to me in the writer's room, of just keeping an open ear, hearing ideas out, no matter how like bad they may sound to you initially, like they lead to great ideas down the line. And I found that through and through again, like, oh my gosh, if I had said, no, that's not gonna work, it wouldn't have led to this, which really does work, and it's so much fun. But we always have a rule, like, in arguing, because I have a very specific point of view. Apprentice, who is our showrunner, has a specific point of view, and a lot of the writers obviously have their own, and so we get into a lot of gender war debates, and there are only 3 dudes, and so they get outnumbered a lot, but they hold their own. But anything that we argue about relentlessly and like get heated about ends up on the show. Mm-hmm. And we love to live in the gray area. We don't like to take one point of view or any other point of view. We like to try to be fair to both sides. And so that's what we look forward to. So anything where I feel like, I know I'm right about this, and I know it is, and people are like, no, you're wrong, you're stupid, I don't care if this is your show, fuck you. That's going in the show. Nobody's ever said that.
I know that's right. Let them know. Let them know.
But no, I do love those moments. I love those moments of of challenge and figuring things out for the story, for the sake of the story. Because obviously we have characters who don't necessarily agree about everything too, so that also feeds them.
Do you have a favorite genre?
I'm big into, I love thrillers, and I feel like we haven't had great thrillers. I'm scared of scary movies, so I know there have been great horror thrillers, but I haven't been able to get through them because I don't like blood and all that and being scared. But I also miss good Black romantic movies. I miss that.
Little Love
and
and
I feel like, yeah, Love and
Basketball,
Basketball, Love Jones, Brown Sugar, which I call Love and Hip Hop, basically, because that's what it was. It was like Love and Basketball with hip hop. I know, come for Brown Sugar, I did. But like, I do miss like great romantic comedies, and I'm wondering when that's gonna make a resurgence in a different way, because I think people also got tired of them. It's just like, oh, they meet, they fight, then they, fall in love again at the end. Like, what the story is gonna be, but I miss that, and I want a resurgence just within, like, the black love of it all.
Why don't you write one?
I'm trying to, girl. You write one.
Are you writing any other? Listen, I can't go from Instagram to that. I mean, I can give me that blueprint. I will. Are you writing any other shows on the other genres?
Yes.
Yeah. Give us a little something.
I'm writing. Well, right now I'm writing a teenage show because I also love teen movies, and I feel like that's kind of missing. But I'm writing a Black teenage show currently for HBO, and we'll see what happens with that. I'm not writing one, but I'm producing a 90s family drama, which I'm excited about, from an author named Angela Flournoy, who's just outstanding. She wrote a book called The Turner House. There's a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a movie that I'm excited about writing that's more in the action comedy arena, but I just like a variety of things, and I don't want to, again, limit myself just in terms of what. And I like to see what I can write. Sometimes I try to do something, and I'm like, whoop, can't do that. Those are my shortcomings, and I'm fine with that, But I always at least like to try.
Mm-hmm. Do you? Oh, okay. You want to clap?
Thank you for clapping for my efforts and failures.
So, is there any inspiration that you would give as a whole to anybody, like life inspiration, just in general?
For me, I think, like, if you're, I think all the time, like, a lot of people constantly find excuses as to why they can't, make something happen, and I'm always like, stop finding the ways in which you can't find something and find the ways in which you can, because I always hear people like, I'm trying to do this, but I can't because this is going on, and I'm broke, and my boyfriend left me, and I don't have a toe, so that's all those things are preventing me from doing it, and it's just like, but think about what you do have. And that was me for a long time, of just like, I don't have the money. I'm in debt. I don't have the time, and nobody's checking for me and all those things. And then I had to be like, oh, what do I have? I have a camera. I have friends. I have a location. I have, a computer. I have all these other things. So what can I make happen? How can I use the things that I do have to make something happen? And I feel like that's how I approach a lot of situations, just in general, a lot of problems, of just like, I don't like to hear what I can't do. I like to hear what's available to me and what I can do and what I can make happen. And that kind of drives me in any way.
What's next for you? What's going on?
What's next? Like I said, I'm shooting this movie this summer, and
Don't wait, say it like that.
I'm excited. I'm going to Atlanta.
That's major.
To shoot that. It's with Marcel Martin and Regina Hall, and
Come on.
it's a Will Packer production, and that's like my. And then I have The Hate You Give, the movie I was in last summer, is coming out October 19th, from Angie Thomas's brilliant book, and yeah, of course, season 3 of Insecure is coming out August 12th. We're still shooting the shit. It feels never ending. It's been almost 3 months, but it's coming, and I'm excited about this season, and can't wait for you guys to see it. I can wait for you guys to see it, but I can't wait. It's happening so soon. We haven't even edited all the episodes.
All right, last question. Can I get on Insecure?
You know what?
I'll be the background.
No, we had a role for you. And then we cut the role. The role, period. I was like, oh, we should get Katie would be perfect for this. And then it didn't make the final draft. But I'm thinking of you, girl.
Okay, all right. You know it's filmed, right?
I would swear to God, I'm thinking of you.
All right.
We watched your SZA video in the writer's room.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have to see that if you enjoyed the SZA video. What was the song? Oh, Weekend.
Mm-hmm, the weekend. When I was in the garage, I had Solange on
Reenacting the
there.
video. It was brilliant.
Thank you. I thought about putting you in that video, but it didn't make the cut. So I did it myself, okay? It ain't make the cut, Issa.
Boom, 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 boom. Shots fired. Okay, I get it.
You got a question?
Do I have a question? What's next for you? What you got going on?
Insecure.
I can't believe you Pusha T'd that for me. I took the bait. Dang.
So that's next.
Whose
y'all.
side are you on? I have a question on the Drake and Pusha T beef. What are you doing?
Jesus. I'm on Jesus' side. I got my Jesus dress on right now, you know. She said I look like I'm waded in the water.
I did not say that.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I did not say
Yes,
that.
you did. You did. It's okay. It's okay.
I would never say that about you, girl.
Okay.
That'd be too much.
I gotta see you behind stage. Remember that.
Okay, so I told y'all she was gonna try to kill me backstage. Help me.
Try to be the new Issa on Insecure. They're like, something don't look right.
She got light skin. She bleaching her skin. I knew that would happen. I knew she was bleaching. Hit myself in the face with the light.
All right.
That's all I got.
That's the only question. All right, fine.
What else you gotta say?
What? I want a question too.
Okay,
Say this is not.
he got a question. Let him
Oh.
ask a question. This is bold.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Black
Stand up.
excellence.
What's up?
Is this a question atmosphere? Please. I knew it. Because he was bold. Happy anniversary. So Uche just asked, meanwhile, police rapper was on. Uche just asked if, he said he's new to LA, 5 months in, and you asked me to be your mentor, basically? Uh-huh. You asked her to be your mentor too? That's rude. That's kind of rude. You met. Why not her? Y'all Nigerians. Well, thank you. I'm honored now. I'm gonna tell her that. I'm gonna be like, this dude met you, and he was like, nah, I don't want you. And he was like, be my mentor. So out of pettiness alone, yes, I'll be your mentor. Welcome to LA.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing
thank
this.
you. I can't
For
wait
real,
to be
what's
on
next for
set.
you? What's besides Insecure, which you're gonna be on, obviously, because I'm held at gunpoint. What's next?
What's next? I'm just writing, getting on more sets, taking classes, just taking it seriously, letting people know that I'm more than just my Instagram page and my numbers, and just getting the respect from everybody, getting more followers. Yeah.
You wanna plug your Instagram?
Oh, my Instagram is Katie, Khadi. Everyone follow me, please. I don't follow back, but I might if you're cute. But yeah, so Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh, look. Grand Rapids, Michigan. No.
Well, thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you for
Thank
doing this.
you.
And thank you guys all
Thank you guys for coming out.
Appreciate it.
Bringing it. Come.